Coming at you live and direct with a new episode. It's your boy, Mr. Zero Lift. This is a life update between John and I. What we've been up to the last 2 years, what's transpired in our lives. What are we up to car wise? There's been a lot of movement in everything, almost every facet of our lives. We kind of get into it because we did stop the podcast abruptly about 2 years ago. Not that anybody really cares, but it's a good listen. You'll see what's going on, what we've got planned for the future, personally and car lifestyle wise. So yeah, enjoy. Well done. Here we go. We find ourselves just the two of us. Just the two of us. Like an Al Green song. Back together. It's been 2 years since we really started doing this again, January of 2023, and a lot has happened, hasn't it, my friend?
Oh my God, has it really been that long?
Yes. Jeez. Yeah. Lenzo just turned 3. I, it's crazy how time flies, especially when you have kids. It's just a blink.
Have I don't think I've even met that kid yet.
No, you haven't.
Oh my God.
I, if we weren't doing debaucherous things in San Diego last time we saw each other, I
That was a
would have
fun
brought
trip.
him. It was, yeah. It
It was a fun trip.
was good to see you. But yeah,
Yeah, man, that was great.
what I've been up to a lot. You've been up to a lot. We've both
Yeah.
moved. You
Yeah.
further than me. We've both had car
Yes.
developments, some good and some bad,
Huge.
both
Mostly
to speak
bad,
for.
but okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, so I guess last time we were doing this, I was a rich asshole.
Hmm.
I am still an asshole, but no longer rich.
Less so.
Yeah. Now I moved back from the Middle East. I'm in Connecticut of all places, which I have absolutely no connection to,
Oh
uh,
man,
except for work. So I'm an airline pilot now. I'm not training
Connecticut is
or
my
in the
old stopping
military.
grounds.
Is
I
it
was
Connecticut? I thought you were
I
more
was
New York.
born in Danbury.
No kidding.
Moved to Queens when I was one. My mother did, which there where I was raised, right, until I went back to UConn high school.
Danbury is nice.
Danbury is nice.
Yeah.
Home to the prison where Tupac went to, actually.
All eyes on me. Um,
Yeah, and it's also a very nice prison because it's like situated on a cliff of a lake where I used to swim at, which is also interesting.
so I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Everybody, including Connecticutians, whatever you want to call them, natives, poo poos on Connecticut.
Mm. Yeah, it's a shithole actually.
I don't hate it.
It's
Um,
like it's one of those love-hate things though. It's either you hate it to death or you're like, nah, I like it.
I mean, if you want to stunt downtown with hose, it's terrible. It's like the
There's no
worst
place to
place
do
on.
that. No.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go? New
Um,
Haven? Get
right.
robbed?
Right. But I kind of live like it's not quite rural, but it's like rural adjacent, you know? Uh, and since I got one of my bikes up, like I I just throw a rock and ride in that direction, and I'm just on some incredible roads, passing farms and lakes and streams and rocks and dams and like I've gone like 4 times and I just go, "Ugh, I got to go that way, and like holy crap, this is dope. Um,
I will say that about
and
Connecticut, it does have some good twisties. It's very hilly.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
mountainous, it's hilly, you know,
yeah.
and they like
My
their
neighbor
single laners.
and my neighborhood is quiet. My backyard's on a golf course. That was an accident. I don't really care about golf, but like I got a fire pit in my backyard, and like
Nice.
I don't hate this.
You're
I'm
you're
kind
up in
of
the Hartford area, right?
So I am about 45 minutes from Hartford. I'm in Terryville, which is almost exactly halfway from between Hartford and New Haven. I'm like
Okay.
right next to Torrington, if you're familiar with
Oh,
that.
I know. You're like right
Yeah.
down the street from Tommy Effia. You should go say hello.
So he's like, just because of the way the roads are in Connecticut, because there's
Hmm.
not like a huge amount of interstate, but like he's probably another 30 or 45 minutes kind of northwest. So I'm like southwest of Hartford, and he's like back up north, but continuing west. Um,
Oh.
I have seen a couple R34s on the streets local to me. Like I'm talking down the street. Um, so I assume some of his people are around. There's a really clean, like god awful, insane clean right hand drive Celsior at the
Ooh.
local Advance Auto, like 5 minutes away. So I
Nope.
chatted with that dude a little bit. It's interesting because I haven't. I'm not. I'm not a part of this. I don't know anyone. I don't care. But like, I feel like the Connecticut car influencer scene is like a shit show of drama.
So,
Um, well, it's like isn't Doug DeMuro from here?
Doug DeMuro is also from Connecticut.
Yeah,
And
which he's
so is God, what's his name? Matt Farah? Mike?
oh,
Matt?
is Farrah from here too?
Matt
Is
Farah?
Farrah
Yeah,
from
yeah,
here?
yeah, yeah.
What is it about this area that breeds
Produces
influence?
douchebags? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't know if Doug is involved in much controversy, but he's a very love him or hate him kind of guy.
Yeah.
I know Farah has quite a few enemies.
Mm.
Um, Tommy F. Yeah is probably the most bonkers, just shit show of social media clown.
God, what a
And
train
I don't,
wreck that dude is.
dude, I don't know anything about these people. I don't have a side. I've just saw some stuff from a mile away, and I was like, yeah, I'm not hanging out with that.
Input poll for sure.
And now, granted, just giving credit where credit's due. I don't think like Farah or Doug Muro have near the amount of controversy or shady behavior that Tommy Effia has been accused of, and
Oh yeah, definitely not.
it's not even close. It's not even close.
I think Doug DeMuro and Matt Farah are in together on their like a storage facility in LA somewhere. And now they do podcasts almost together. Or they did. I don't know. They have some sort of business association. Who knows? Stay
Yeah, but
away.
I don't know. Well, what's funny is I was like, some guy was telling me about how there's a really good GTR tuner, blah 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 blah, not far away, close to Torrington. And I was like, you mean the Tommy
And it
Effia
was
guy?
Tommy F, yeah.
And he
Tuner.
was like,
They
yeah. And I
call
was
him
like,
a tuner. I don't. Does he tune his own stuff? Anyway.
no, he's got a guy. But
Oh, he's got a guy.
I was like, do people still go there after all the I would just go somewhere else. I just I don't know who was right, who was wrong, if it was a lie. I was just like, I'm just not gonna go there. I'm just not even gonna. Um, and they were all swearing that his mechanic is actually great. The weird thing is that when I did move back to the States, I was looking for a place. We can get into why and everything that's happened, but I was looking for a GTR shop, and I was going to talk to them to see, because I don't know, right? And I was on their Instagram, I was on their YouTube, I was on all their socials. There is no contact information for them.
That's
I
strange.
guess I'm a boomer, and I guess you're supposed to hit them up on Instagram, but
Slide
if you
into
have a
his DMs, homie.
yeah, if you have
That's
a
that's the
shop
only
and I'm
way.
gonna go do tens of thousands of dollars of work with you, I'm not sliding into your DM. I'm gonna call you. I don't know. Like I said, maybe that's boomer, but there was no contact info whatsoever. And then when you looked up the shop on Google Maps, there wasn't a phone number, and the description of the shop was child daycare.
Mhm.
Yeah, which like see, and then like all the reviews were like really tongue in cheek, like I came here and got herpes, and like
That's
and so I
great.
was like, with all of the drama that I did not follow whatsoever, I just knew it existed, and then you don't list your business like an adult. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, not happening.
Says a lot. But hey, he's got some investors. He's got the dude who bought the 400R, which uh, is relevant today because we are recording this in the midst of Monterey Car Week. So this is Sunday, and the Saturday uh, Sotheby's auction just went down last night, and a 400R sold
What go
for
for?
900 and I think 925,000, 995,000, a little under a million.
Jeez.
Point being, the dude that bought that 400R, who I guess is connected to Tommy Fier's investors somewhat, whatever. He bought it from Top Rank 2 years ago, something like that, for 1.3 million. So I'm sure, not that he cares about the depreciation of the car he bought, but
For an R chassis? Like
400R, yeah. And it was a
I
like a road kilometer. I think it had like 7,000 kilometers on it. It was pretty nice. Nice enough to be,
but
at Sotheby's during Monterey Car Week. So
look, I see Sotheby's, I see Monterey Car Week, I see a 400R having a premium. I just don't understand an R chassis going
you think it's too much?
100%. Like what? Like when R34 hype was at its peak, a crispy like V spec or something like that was in the twos,
Yep. I think
which
it's
to
now
me
it's
is
like
like
150,
right, and
175.
they've gone down. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm like, okay, so a 400R is going to be somewhere between 250 and 500. That's like
I mean, you
because
gotta,
they're limited. They're not that limited. Like
man, we could really go down a rabbit hole right now, John, because I could say like, well, I will say maybe the reason the 400R is so expensive, excuse me, sorry, is because of cars like the built by Legends car. I really
what?
had to
Why'd you twitch? Why'd you twitch?
I really had to restrain myself not to say the actual name. The BBL cars, like you got them, and then you have Nismo with the CRSs now restoring full cars, whatever, and they're kind of filling that gap, right? Because R32 from BBL is a quarter million, and then the R33 is half a million, and then the R34 is more than that, right? And that goes the same for the CRS cars out of Nismo. I think to build one of those today, probably like 750,000 dollars US.
I just I don't know if it's I'm jaded because I've had an R chassis for over a decade and I love my car and it's not going anywhere. But like it's it's not a Ferrari. I
You're
I
absolutely
it,
right.
like I don't and then like the similarities between the different chassis are so close. Like if you tune a 32, can you really say it's materially different? Like if you're talking about concours like numbers matching, sure, 34 wipe the floor with a 32 all day. But
Or
I
the style or whatever.
I just
I mean, for like almost $1 million, you could buy a Murcielago these days.
that in and of itself is bonkers to me. But I just don't. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, no, that's there. That's a good point. Like
Which would
if
you
you
rather
can
have?
get if you can get a freaking sweet like a nice spec Diablo or Murcielago for that kind of money, why would you look at an R chassis for that? Because that is gated 6 speed Mercy or Diablo money.
Yeah.
Um, just not senior.
This is two
Yeah, one of my
GTR
favorite.
folks saying this. Two
It was
GTR
one of my
guys saying
favorite
this,
cars.
folks.
Yeah, I,
But there's got to be a line somewhere, right? Like, hmm.
I don't know, dude. Well, in the 2 years that we've been off air, I think the resto mod market has gone absolutely bonkers.
I feel like
And
it's like the era, the 80s era of cocaine where everybody's just high on their own shit and they're just
well,
cooking up whatever. Ah, maybe we could wrestle mod this. They've wrestle mod Kutashes, Diablos, wrestle modded
it's
F1.
become it's become like the Instagram twerk video of the car world. It's like, oh, me too. Look, I can also shake my ass. Oh, that's amazing. Like I've never seen that before. Like, um, and it the thing that makes me here's what makes me mad about it. So we didn't really argue, but we were talking about that the Gordon Murray S1, which is basically a McLaren a T50 that looks like a McLaren F1.
Right.
I gave that a hood pass because it's actually cheaper than a McLaren F1 and it's much prettier than
Mm.
a T50. And it's made by the guy that made the McLaren F1. That's why I give it a hood pass. But the other thing is that at no point in time in the McLaren F1's existence, or the T50 for that matter, was that car ever attainable by mere mortals.
Yep.
So if you take the MSRP adjusted for inflation for a McLaren F1, it was over $1 million. It was like
Yeah,
500 or something like that. But it was a
I
million
think
dollar
that,
car when it was
yeah, it was like 1.1.
functional. Yeah. So it was never attainable by mere mortals. Here's what pisses me off about the resto mod market. Like Singer did a thing, Singer got popular, and now there's 15 bazillion every fucking week. There's a new Porsche resto mod company, and they all are taking blue collar dream cars. They're cars that you could get a career, make a couple sacrifices, and own. And they're turning them into shit that no one owns but the Sultan of Brunei, and they don't even drive them and they don't know anything about them. It's just when they get announced, they put an order in, sight unseen, and they just get one. They just got to
His oil money.
just eat them up. They just got to eat them up. So like, there is more crazy $1 million cars available for purchase on the market than ever before in history, and like the market is dividing to like
Mm.
the extreme low end and the extreme high end, and there's nothing interesting in the middle,
Yep.
save for like two or three options. But and it just pisses me off. So a Porsche 911 is not a Lamborghini. It is not a McLaren. It is a car for you and me. If you make good decisions, you get that promotion, maybe you skip a vacation or two, you can have a Porsche
Maybe you
911
do
and it's
that.
all the
Maybe you do that 0 day, options trade, and you hit it.
yeah, but they've turned it into this douchebag, Bizzarini 1 of 10. You're never gonna fricking touch one, and I hate it. I hate it. And they've done
Did
it to Lancia. They've done it to Lancia. They've done it to Alfa Romeo. They've done it to everybody.
every? Did you know that there's five of those? I want to say F1 LMs, but what is it called? The Gordon Murray? It's a S1 S1 LM.
S1.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's five of those apparently being made. One guy bought all five. I don't really give a shit, right?
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm
One
talking about.
really rich asshole bought all five ever being produced for whatever reason. Like, I don't really give a shit. Me personally, and I told you this, and you commented that it was a valid point that
It is valid.
my thing with this car, and this is all I'm going to say. It's very pretty. It looks exactly like a sort of cyberpunk retro modern F1 LM GTR.
For sure. For sure.
But it's the fact that Gordon Murray himself resto modded his own design, kind of stroking his own ego, dick, whatever you want to call it. Like, granted, okay, yes, Gordon Murray, one of the greatest car designers of all time. Pin him up there, top 10. Just to put it out there. Yes, but
Absolutely.
I mean,
100%. 100%.
oh, come on, guy, you made the F1, and then you went out and then you made the T30 and T50, which arguably is a better modern F1. Like you did it. Why reskin something in your old work? I don't. Why reskin your new work in your old work?
It kind of smacks of the Lambo Countach, which was not original at all.
And I mean, and styling, art, beauty, that's all subjective. I'm entitled to my opinion. John, you're entitled to yours. Our viewers, you know, they could hit me up in the comments and be like, yeah, Leonard, you're totally wrong. Mr. Zero Lift, Mr. Zero dumbass, you're an idiot, whatever. But
Like
like, I don't know. It's
I
my
just
take.
feel like when you got one or two hypercars every 10 years, it was kind of like it was kind of exciting. You're like, oh my god,
It
what are
was
they
a
doing now?
competition,
Like
right?
it was a little bit of competition, and it
It
was
was like
kind of like
Sony
a
and Microsoft coming out with the new generation of consoles. Everybody was
yeah,
there was anticipation.
right. But it was also like kind of like, hey, this is what we could do if absolutely nothing else was a consideration, but make the coolest car we can make. And now it's just so it's just every day I'm just like, oh great, another play toy for trust fund billionaires that no one that actually drives is ever going to touch. Who
I mean,
cares?
that says a lot about our society these days, right, John? Well, I mean, this is another rant we could go down, tangent we could go down. Like in the dopamine era, we have the loss of print art, print magazine, and then the motor shows are no more, right? And so like, there's no venue spot place for these OEMs or these small shops to debut their cars, and so like, it's all the internet. And the internet is instantaneous, and so like, you got to keep up with it to stay relevant, to stay in people's dopamine sphere, yada yada. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's a sad trajectory what we're on, but it's just where we're at right now.
Well, that's why I have dove hard into old stuff.
Yeah. So let's get back on topic while we're here. We're here for a life update. So
Oh
you
God.
you moved from
So
Saudi. You're in Connecticut. You're flying for an airline now. Congrats.
I am. Yeah, I
You
got my
graduated
fixed wing
from
ratings.
yeah. You graduated from rotary wing to fixed wing.
Not rotor trash anymore.
You're scum now.
I am scum. I don't want to make this a podcast on the aviation industry, but just reading the writing on the wall, like yes, I was making impossible money in the Middle East. I was also living in a furnished apartment with nothing. And it's a defense contract. So defense contracts, they can be gone tomorrow. You know what I mean? They can um and the guys that do that work, and I've been around this a lot. Those guys are basically moving from contract to contract, right? They'll get on a cushy one, they'll be there for 2 to 3 years, contract will go under, something change, whatever, and then they'll go to another one. And so that they're in Saudi this year, they're in India next year, they're in Africa the year after that. Like and they don't they're not home. They don't have a home. Um, and that's cool. If I was in my mid 20s, I'd probably be like, yeah, sign me up for 10 more years of this. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but I
that's
really
just
want to.
like being in the military. Same, same.
It's dude. It's way more. Like
Way more, but I mean, you
the
get paid more.
I mean, the work is way easier and you make a ton more money to do it. But the strain on your family is like 3 times. Like you're not going on a deployment for 3 to 12 months. You're just gone. Like
Mhm.
bye.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Saudi for 3 years and I was just there. I spent a grand total of maybe a month in the United States across those 3 years. Like you're just gone.
Sheesh.
And like there were dudes that I worked with that were there with me the whole time that had a wife and kids. They're
That's
just
kind of
dead.
wild.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's actually way more.
Yeah.
um,
No, I
and I was
get
like,
it.
yeah, that's not the lifestyle I want to live. And the aviation industry was going nuts at the time. They were hiring everybody with a pulse, and I was just like, okay. If you look at the pay scales for what a pilot and a captain, whatever makes, I won't have a problem. But it's an investment. So I took a 70% pay cut to come back to the states for now, but eventually I will take a 0% pay cut, and with the benefit that I have a real life and home and time off and all that stuff. So that was my investment in myself. Um, with that, bought a house. It's got a 4-car garage. Put a bunch of race deck down.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, and I've been in the process of getting my stuff back. So all my bikes are back. Got the Ducati registered, running. I've been going on rides. Got the other 2 bikes running. I haven't got them registered. I actually just finished the KTM, the dirt bike, last night, and then the Triumph is like done, but I found an issue with some of the wiring in it, and
Ooh, no.
it's fine. It powers up. It connects to the little, I got, laptop tuner thing for it. Um, what I found is that the connector on the cluster, sometimes one of the wires is like loose and it won't, like, you turn it on and like the tack does like a sweep and it goes beep.
Mhm.
um Sometimes it doesn't do that, and what I found is that if I jiggle the wire, I actually did it on accident because I was just like touching stuff while the key was on, and then I bumped that connector, and all of a sudden like the fuel pump turned on and off again, and I was, whoa, hold on a minute. And so yeah, there's like a loose pin or something in the connector for the dash, which causes a CAN bus failure, which gives me a check engine light. So I have been wanting, because I love wiring and I kind of geek out on doing like mil spec harnesses and stuff, and I've been wanting to take that bike apart and do a, because I've done it. It has a custom harness. I built the harness that's on it right now. I use the stock connectors, so that connector is the original. It's an '06, um, but I just kind of spliced it together because I got rid
Sounds
of a
like it's
bunch of stuff
time
on it.
for a change out.
Well, I've been wanting to like just rip it apart and do like a from scratch, like mil spec, V125 heat shrink and DTM Autosport connectors and that. And I've been wanting to do that for years. And I was like, this might be the thing. Because so my cars, God, that's a freaking. Do we want to get into that? The
Yeah,
car
let's get.
situation?
Do we have
Well,
to?
yeah. So just to finish out the Triumph thing, I was just like, I have so much on my plate and so many toys I'm about to be playing with. Like, I can stand for this bike to be down possibly for the winter while I just do a harness on it. It's fine.
Do it.
It runs.
You should do it.
Started it up. I started it up. I warmed it up. It runs. I can blip the throttle. Everything works.
You take it
Anyway,
apart.
yeah, yeah. Fix it till it's broke.
Yeah.
Um, so the Skyline. So when I went to Saudi, I knew I was going to have all this cash. I think we referenced this in a bunch of our episodes, but I was like, I'm going to be separated from all my stuff for 3 years, making monopoly money. I'm just going to have a shop do stuff to it so that when I come home, everything's fresh and ready to go.
Mm, I remember this.
Well, I was an idiot
Oh,
because I thought that when you open a car shop, that you want to work on cars and make money. That's not actually how the car shop world works. They
not
hate
in
money.
America.
Yeah, they don't work on cars and they hate money. So, so,
So what are
um,
they there for, John?
so what?
What are they? What are they there for? What are car shops in
So I'm
America for?
not sure.
If it's not for making
Haven't
money
worked that
or
out.
for working on cars.
Haven't worked that out. Um, not worked that. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. We had Danny from RMC on the show, and I know you got a lot to say about RMC, but um,
Wearing a shirt.
yep, we'll get to that.
This is a good
But
one.
Danny recommended a dude named Gabe from Redland Performance in Miami, and that dude is the fucking truth.
Shout
That
out.
is the I
Shout
have
out to
dealt with like
Redland Performance in Miami.
yeah, I have dealt with like 8 shops in this chronicle I'm about to detail, and the only shop that like threw down and did effing work was Redland Performance in Gabe. So with that, uh,
Woo!
the GTR went, yeah, the GTR went to like 2 or 3 different shops. They never touched it. It ended up at a shop for over a year and a half. I dropped off the car, an engine block, a stroker crank, a VCam kit, a plasma man intake, and 20 grand. And I said, call me when you need more money. And it
Mm,
sat there for a year and a half. He never spun a bolt.
that's wild.
And so I eventually got all my stuff back. I got my money back and all that stuff. What I ended up doing was my buddy that lives in Texas, that was kind of, because the shop that I went to was in Texas, that was kind of watching over the whole deal for me. Um, he builds cars and he imports cars and stuff, and he got a really cherry Mark IV Supra and a really cherry Skyline, and he had a really cherry GC Subaru, and he makes money in construction. Anyway, we just kind of,
Construction. He's a mafia guy.
yeah, he's like cell phone towers and like planning the infrastructure and stuff for it.
No, deeper down.
Yeah. But he, we took the car back and we were like, look, you've been gone for 3 weeks. I was back in the States. I was in training at this point in time. And I'm like, nothing has happened. Um, we were like, let's just get the car to the point where you can drive it before the winter. So we did a bunch of like little stuff. We redid like the coil harness and went back over the tune, and I put like an LS alternator on it, and we had like a new catch can made and a new intake setup put on it, and just like a bunch of little,
Little
just
bits.
kind of polishing a turd. Yeah, I coated all the valve covers and strut tower brace. It looks really nice under the hood now, and like just made sure everything that was, there was like an exhaust stud that was snapped. Got the stud replaced. Um, just made sure everything that was there was like put together right,
You guys are
ran
notorious for
well.
that. Not many
It's
people know.
crazy. I got the ARP
Hmm.
freaking nuclear alloy, whatever, and it freaking snapped in like 2,000 miles. I was like, what?
I'm sure.
I
I'm
used a
sure
torque.
if I
I used
take
a
off
torque
the
wrench.
turbos on mine, it will snap. I also have ARP, whatever, whatever was good 10 years ago. Was the last time I replaced those.
I didn't get it, but whatever. So car is actually on a truck coming to me, but it got delayed so much because homie moved houses. So it was supposed to get on the truck a month ago. It got delayed so much that it's supposed to show up next week, and I'm going to be out of the country for a week. So
Bad timing.
we're we're stalling the shipper. It's going to show up right when I get back. So the end of August, um, it's going to be here around the time that I get here. So finally, I'll have that. Uh,
What about the
the
GS
the Grand Sport,
and Gabe?
similar. Yeah, so Gabe ended up with the Grand Sport. So similar, like messed up chain of events. I wanted the interior rebuilt on that thing because I hated the interior. It was chintzy. I don't. Is that an offensive term? I don't know what that refers to.
I don't think so.
I don't know the
We'll find
etymology of
out.
chintzy, but
We'll find out if we
um,
get canceled next week.
well, if it is offensive, I'll stop using it. I don't intend it to be. But the interior looked like crap. The exterior was gorgeous. The paint's gorgeous. Mechanically, the car ran great. The interior just looked like junk. So I wanted somebody to rebuild the interior. The car is like a garbage hybrid of real Corvette and just BS kit car. So I was like, I don't know what parts. I kind of went crazy looking for a place, and then I realized that one of the shops in America that builds the kit will sell you a turnkey kit car, has a massive interior shop inside. So that was Mongoose Motorsports. So I was in the States visiting, and I took a side trip to visit them, talked to them for 2 hours about what I wanted done. And they agreed to take the car like 2 or 3 months after I left. So I had the car shipped there on their schedule. It shows up. It sat there for 4 months. I called them every week
Oh
and said,
my
hey,
God. What?
yeah, yeah. And they were like, well, we've just been looking at the car. We're gonna get you a quote. It should be next week, next week, next week, next week, next week, next week.
Dude, what?
4 months. And so I finally sent a truck there. And I called him and said, hey, there's a truck outside. F you, the car's leaving. Um, so took it from there. And at that point in time, I had a job offer with Atlas Airlines in Miami. And so I was about to be on the way to Miami. I was just calling shops and I found a Corvette restoration shop that had like 5.0 reviews on Google. And I was like, told them the situation. And they were like, yeah, we can do whatever little mechanical stuff needs to be done, but I recommend this guy for interior. So I called this guy. Um, he said, yeah, he's down to work on the car. So great. So I had it shipped there. And
Another shop in Miami.
that's right. I'm on the way to the airport and Atlas Airlines to leave Saudi Arabia for good. This was back in June. Sorry, not June of this year, June of the prior year.
You're in
Um,
24. Okay.
yep. And Atlas calls me and says, "We just fired our Amazon contract. We're liquidating all our
Oh,
737s.
shit.
You don't have a job anymore." I was like, "What the fuck?" So I jumped through my ass to get my contract turned back on. But at that point, the car was already en route to Miami. So I was like, "Well, I guess the BS is
That's that work's getting
terminated."
done. Holy shit.
Yeah. So there was a few mechanical things I wanted done to the car. Namely, I hated the brake setup on it and the roll cage sucked. So I wanted to cut out part of the cage and convert the car to like manual, like a pedal box, like a Tilton or Willwood pedal box with a balance bar.
Oh god, that
And
sounds ridiculously familiar, similar to what you have in the GTR.
I have this stock setup right now. I did buy one of those booster deletes, but it's not a balance bar setup. It just goes to a manual brake. Anyway, we could talk about that.
Right. Yeah.
It's not in the car yet though. But so I wanted to convert it to like a proper motorsports box. And anyway, so All In Leather is the shop that's doing the interior. They haven't actually started the interior, and I'll tell you why. Freddie, great guy, seems like a super nice, super honest dude. He rips the interior out of the car, and then he's like, for this cage and pedal stuff, you should go to that Corvette restoration place. So he ships it over there. Those dudes do they do good work, they do cheap work, they have absolutely no concept of time. So my car was there for 8 months. They didn't even start the pedal box. So in that time, we got the cage cut out. They started to replace the windshield, but didn't finish. They fixed some mounting bolts in the hood, and they changed the radiator. And that was eight
Oh
months.
my god. And, and then if you count the 4 months that it was at the other shop, and then the 3 months that you had to wait for their schedule.
Yeah, yeah. And Freddie had the car for like 2 or 3 months just because he was doing me a solid because I was coming to town and he was like, "Yeah, I'll fit you in." And so like it got there, he put it inside. He's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to like start on it for like a month." And then he ripped it. He spent like a couple weeks to a month like ripping it apart, and then he shipped it over to the vetsmith. So like that was that. So anyway, that is after that had gone on for so long. I'm back in the United States. I'm about to be home. Like this isn't even like the actual job, the interior job, which is
Right.
like the big job, hasn't even started. Um, that's when I called you because you had been doing some deals with RMC Miami and you were hanging out in Miami a whole lot and getting to know the
Yep.
crew there and stuff. And I was like, well, certainly if Danny moves all this weight, he's got to have, and then all custom cars. He has to know somebody when he needs something done.
Yep.
And you referred me to Gabe.
Knew just the
As
guy.
luck would have it, as luck would have it, Gabe's shop was literally next door to
Yeah,
the shop that the vet was in.
that's actually kind of honestly crazy that it went
Unbelievable.
down like that. Lucky
Yeah.
for us, and logistically that worked out that way.
So Gabe took the car and now like the pedal box is in. They even instead of just installing the pedal box, they actually cut out part of the firewall, re-fiberglassed it, and they put like a steel and carbon fiber reinforcement plate glassed over it, repainted it all to match. And they did all this in like a month. And it's
Yeah.
in now.
What? Jesus.
Yeah. And the only thing we're waiting on is we decided to go ahead. We were on the fence on if we wanted to upgrade the brakes now or upgrade them later. And I said, screw it. This has been such a pain in the ass. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. So I bought a big ass Willwood brake kit and had to get some custom stuff. So it took Willwood a couple weeks talking to racers to see what I actually needed to work with the balance bar and stuff. Anyway, they sent me the brake kit and they sent the wrong colored calipers. And so I
Mm,
called them. I was like, hey guys, what the hell? And so they sent me the right calipers. We're just waiting for that box to show up. And then
nice.
so like all the fabrication and stuff is done. We're waiting on the box to show up. They're going to put the calipers on. Then it can go to the interior shop.
And the actual work
So
you get, but not the hey while we're here.
yeah, something, I mean, the one thing that I have kind of abandoned hope of driving the Grand Sport this season. But one thing I'm kind of like crossing my fingers for is, Freddie was like, look, for me, a, you know, $30,000 like all in car show interior takes 2 to 3 months. So you're not getting that, but like, it's going to take a while, but it's not going to take that long because he's just like interiors don't take that long. Um, so that's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I'm not planning on, maybe if I have a nice day in November or December, I might drive it, but I'm not counting on it. Um,
Yeah, that fab work, I gotta say, that fab work that you send me pictures of, took pictures of, to the group chat with me and Jared. Uh,
oh my God,
Great. Shout out to Gabe and Redland
dude, like
Performance.
it
If you
saved
if
my
you're in
life.
if you're in the southern Florida area and you got modified stuff, fab stuff to get done, absolutely go to them.
I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed with I have dealt with shops all over the country now because I was overseas trying to like get stuff done. I'm trying to get to a point where I don't send anything out. Like I'm not really welding and fabricating, but beyond that, engine swaps, all that crap, like I'm good doing that myself. I'm trying to get to the point where I don't need a shop. However, I have appreciated my
Aren't we
experience
all,
with
buddy?
Gabe.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but I've appreciated my experience with Gabe so much that if I ever did need a shop, I would seriously consider just shipping my car from Connecticut to Florida. That's how like over
That's
it
serious.
and
Yeah.
impressed and over it that I am with the whole the whole thing. Um, so I got one more, and then I'll cede my time. But
Yes.
the patrol.
The patrol, le patrol. How's that thing
So
going?
it's great. Um, the shop in Saudi
Good news
did
story
incredible
then.
work. Yeah, no, they did incredible work. They built it great. My one complaint about them, they took literally double the time.
I mean,
They
Arab
told
time
me,
is
yeah,
similar to
they told
Latina
me
time.
they told me the build would be 8 to 10 months. This is a complete like factory new restoration, by the way. Rotisserie, like coating, zinc coating all the bolts, paint, interior wiring, everything. They told me 8 to 10 months. They took almost 2 years. So
Well, that's a
that
bit of an
sucks.
yeah.
But they did it.
I
But they
don't.
did it. And it's done. And it's in the custody of my buddy in Saudi, Khalid. And I just told him, like, hey, dude, this is taking so long. And now I'm not even there. I want you to just keep the car for a couple weeks and make sure that like everything is perfect. They didn't screw anything up before we ship it to the US.
Smart. That's a smart move.
Yeah. Because I listen, like Arab
The
people.
the quality looks amazing. You sent yes, again.
Yeah.
You sent us videos and pictures in our group chat. I'll have to either splice them into this video for YouTube or drop them in our Discord. Hey, plug our Discord. We have a Discord Zero Lift. Go in there, join us. We have a bunch of old archive long gone stuff, and as well as what we're working on our project cars and our other members, viewers, project cars. So go in there and check it out.
And
Anyway,
if you're ever on it, it's the same one.
there you go.
But yeah, and I got more stuff, by the way. If you get serious about splicing, let me know and I'll send you more on the
I'll
patrol.
fade it and I'll do
But
the whole Jamie thing like Rogan has. Pull out of
so the
Jamie.
other the, the other silver lining with the patrol is I bought that car for like peanuts. So if and when when I do import it, now that we have tariffs, I don't think they're going to hurt that bad.
Nice.
um, oh, and I got a Lexus LS 430 as a daily. Nothing super cool. I just got a really clean, and I think that might be the best daily driver ever made.
Dude, that's a smooth
Um,
car.
oh my god, it's so good, so good. Like I said, embracing the old stuff. It's 2006, and I don't want anything.
Well, I'm glad the patrol worked out. And, dude,
I
I
don't
remember when you first moved to Saudi and you had bought it, and you're like, dude, I bought it for dirt cheap. Like, what was it, like
It's like
$2,000? How
five or
much?
six grand. It's
Five or
like five
six
or six
grand.
grand. It had an LS
Really?
swap already.
Yeah, and it's already got out of the swap. I'm gonna have this shop, do a light restoration on it. 2 months later, it turned into a, hey, about the patrol, it's a full restoration now. It was tuning. You wanted to tune it first because it was running rough or it didn't
Well,
run.
nah, we got taken by the guy that sold it to us, and it was I was kind of relying on the Arab network to help me out, and they didn't help me out as good as I think they could have. But the guy that sold it said it was like, it's perfect, nothing wrong with it, and it ran like shit. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't in the best shape, and I just wanted a shop to like put it on a laptop, make sure fueling, ignition, and everything was straight, and if they saw any obvious problems with it, maybe a new water pump. It was just rough. It was rough. And then that dude had the car for like 4 or 5 months while I was in Saudi. I'm like, what do you do? Like, this is supposed to be a weekend dyno tune, dude. What's going on? And it just
Oh
turned into
my
a
God.
nightmare. And
Dude, you
so I
have the
was just,
worst luck.
I do. I really do. I really do. But I'm not, that's all stuff that I budgeted to buy a house and I budgeted to handle all these things so that for the next like 3 or 4 years, I just wouldn't spend any major I'd spend money on tires and oil changes. So I'm just trying to like get all that up to where I'm at so I can start living like a poor person because I'm not making that kind of money anymore.
Not making that kind of money again yet, you mean? Yeah, buddy.
It's gonna take a couple years, but yeah.
Out there.
But you
Dude,
have also done some things.
I've done some things, jumped through some hoops. I almost died. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. When in those final episodes that we were recording back in beginning of 2023, I uh, I had been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in January, right? And so I think we had just done the episode with Danny the week before. And then, was feeling shitty that next week, and then went to go do a blood test. And what's funny is I went to go do a blood test, and they're like, we would really like for you to stay here until we get the test results. I'm like, nah, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna go home, take a nap. Call me. As soon as I got home, laid down, they're like, we got your blood test results back. We need you to come back to the hospital. We've already admitted you. I was like, that sounds great and all. Can we do this tomorrow? And they're like, no, you need to be right now. So like at that time, I didn't know. I was like, oh man, probably like a little something. Nope. I was like, they told me that night there was 95% cancer cells in my blood, and I was like, wow, is that serious? And it's like, am I gonna die from that, or are we talking about like curable? And they didn't give me that answer, and I was like, oh well, okay. So
Jesus.
that was how my 2023 started. Then we did chemo, did everything. I think we recorded like two more episodes. We recorded the episode with Dino, and then my
Yeah.
friend
Yeah.
David. But yeah, through all that, I was going through treatment and I just couldn't keep up, and that's why we kind of had to take a little hiatus. Luckily, I the stars aligned, and through great doctors over at Stanford University Hospital in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area. Shout out to them. The chemo, the radiation, the technology in medicine that they have now with CAR T and bone marrow transplants and all that stuff. I was able to reach remission, get a transplant, and now we're almost coming up on the 2 year mark of my bone marrow transplant, and we're still cancer free. So we're through
Dude,
that brimstone.
it it was kind of nuts, and like I don't know if I'm giving you credit or the doctors credit or both, but like I had I felt like I was just coming to like terms with the fact that you had leukemia, and you were like, yeah, I'm fucking good. And I was like, what? Like, you kicked that shit's ass. Like, what?
Yeah. Uh, you know,
You say it and it doesn't sink in. You know what I mean? At least for me, it takes like 2 or 3 months to be like, holy shit, dude, like Lenny might, like, oh my God. Like, and I felt like by the time it had like hit, you were like, yeah, I'm good now.
it was definitely a long year. I mean, from the time I was diagnosed to the bone marrow transplant, it was 11 months, just about 11 months. So, I mean, it wasn't something short, no matter, definitely, but like, because like I would do chemo for 3 weeks in the hospital, then it'd be like a 3 week on, 3 week off thing. So, uh,
Right.
and I want to say this to our listeners, whoever's listening, whoever's been through it, or whoever might be going through it now, or knows somebody, the will to live, this is my opinion, uh, through hindsight now, the will to live definitely plays a huge part in any sort of battle, that sort of, ravenous disease or illness. Like, if you don't have it in your mind that, like, this is just a temporary place and there is something better after, uh, I think that that's like more than half the battle. The medicine is there, the technology is there, and it's improving every day. Um, say what you will in this sort of environment that we're at, and sort of anti-science. It's not all, bad vaccines, untested vaccines, Fauci things. And I don't want to get too political about it, but I mean, like, just look at me. Like, they took blood, they took a shit ton of blood out of me, sent it to a lab, injected antibodies, little nano cells, nanobot cells that would be stronger and help fight against any new forming cancer cells in my bloodstream. And then they put it back into me, and that helped tremendously, which is crazy. So like, I received nanobot my own nanobot blood back into me, and like, that's like some sci-fi stuff for real.
Yeah. No, I mean, congrats and thanks for not leaving me and Ken alone. We talked a lot when we were
I,
going through
I'm not done yet. I still got a bunch of speed cameras to set off. So, speaking of which, so like, I've gone through that now. Then there was like there was a post transplant recovery phase, and so like, I was living out in the Bay for a little while, and there are some very nice roads out there in San Francisco, I have to say.
Sure.
Like, PCH, of course, that goes from the whole span of California to the west. Then you got Highway 9, which is a great little road from like the nicer part of Palo Alto, Mountain View, and then it kind of like goes into the greater San Francisco city. So I say that because as I was staying out there, I was like, I'm going to take the GTR out one weekend while I'm in that area for a doctor's visit. And, I had just gotten the suspension totally refreshed, like I was talking about before we put everything into how it is. I had gotten that done and I was done. So like the car was feeling good. It was great. I was tracking it. I went to Laguna twice. Um, well, I was out there on a Friday morning, taking it easy up Highway 9. I was by myself and I was maybe going like maybe 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour tops around an uphill hairpin section. And there was a dip in the road, John, and fuck me, dude. I lost control, went into an embankment, and flipped over the GTR in the worst way possible. This was August of last year, so it's coming up on a year now. It was the 23rd of August of last year, so we're like a week away from that anniversary. And so I totaled my beauty.
Dude, I could not believe that. It felt like you beat leukemia and then like immediately after flipped your car. I was just like, what?
There was like a good high point. So like I was diagnosed with leukemia in January of 23. In November of 23, I had my bone marrow transplant. And so from then until the spring, so like March, April, I was living in Mountain View, in the Mountain View Palo Alto area, right by the hospital because I needed to be close to it. Uh, May was Ours Day in Laguna Seca, where our buddy Tommy F. showed up in R33 that barely ran and idled, but that's besides the point. Ours Day was great. I met a bunch of great GTR owners. We ran a bunch of great laps. I ran a 145 flat around Laguna in the R32 GTR at full boost, which is I've been told it's actually a pretty smoking lap for something of that vintage and the way it is an H pattern car, and for an amateur like me to be driving it. Because let's be serious, I'm not a pro. I never stunt like that, at least not for now. Maybe one day. Anyway, yeah, I had done like a two lap track days with the GTR in the spring and summer of last year of 24. And in August, I was, like I said, out there for a weekend. Had a doctor's appointment that Friday, and I just stayed out there for the weekend. And then that happened, and so yeah, it was like a low point, and then we had some highs, and then another low point with me rolling over my precious GT R32 GTR that I had for 12, 13 years now. Gah. But it's not all negative. Well, I mean, like, I crawled out of the car. There was no injuries, so like, thank God for the roll cage. Thank God I was, wearing my harness that I had just replaced with a New Orleans harness because of my track day, and my old one was not to spec or to date. So thank God for that. No injuries out of it. And for my insurance company because they did not total my car. They did not total GTR, thankfully. They said it was repairable, and I believe it is because the roll cage kept the shape of it pretty well. So like it's really just a roof and two A-pillar replacements along with every other body panel. So like it's not like a it's not like a nothing job. It's definitely something that's going to cost upwards of 50 grand. At that point, I might as well take everything down to the bare chassis, take every outside skin of the car off, do a full body restoration. Like it's one of those things where it's like if you don't take everything off, it's never gonna be right again.
Yeah.
So yeah, luckily they cut me a nice check, and I'm getting it fixed. But I took a bulk of it, and as I was crying over flipping over my precious, I made a few calls. I called all my friends, my car friends, and I got advice. One of those people I called, so I called Danny. I was like, Danny, fuck man, I just flipped over my car. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What should I do? Second thought, do you have an R32 shell that I could buy for you that you could ship out to me? Because I just want to. I was thinking immediately, man, it'd be easier to swap everything out because the motor still turns over like nothing happens. Transmission still ships perfectly fine. Suspension's fine. Brakes are good. So like essentially a shell swap was up on the cards, and I have to think I thank Danny almost every time I talk to him. He was like, dude, that we could do that. I could help you find one. We could get it out there, and you could swap it out and be good. But like, Lenny, you've had that car for what, 11, 12 years? You've done what with the car? Everything, everything everybody's ever could imagine. You lived out in Japan. You tracked the car. You ran the Wangan with it. You had Smokey Nagata build it at top secret. You did this. You did that. Then you shipped it back to America, or you shipped it to America, and then you did track days. You know, you did this, that, and the other with the car. Why the fuck would you want to do that for another 12 years again? What are you going to do that again for another 12 years? What he said, probably. Yeah, along those lines. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. And he's absolutely right. He was right then. He's right now.
Sounds suspiciously similar to the advice another one of your friends gave you.
Mm, yes.
Mm.
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 And you know what?
It's like,
I'm glad you guys said that because it definitely resonated immediately. I was like, damn, fuck, you're right. Especially after, just beating leukemia. You know, I am now retired because of that. So like I retired from my government job, so I'm not working. I'm just kind of enjoying myself. I'm able to, thankfully. So I was like, man, fuck it. Danny, Danny's like, he said that, and then the next sentence was, and I say that because I have the perfect car for you to step into.
yeah, see, I didn't have that angle for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you should have tried
yeah,
to flip me an FD.
yeah, right.
So, Danny immediately sends me pictures of this red G Body 87 Porsche, which I also happened to see at RMC when I was over there, a few months prior. Just in my post transplant recovery, I did a little bit of traveling. I went to go see my mother in Florida. So she lives close to Miami. I drove over there for a day or two. I went to go meet Danny in person. This is before I even was looking for a car or ever wanted to buy a car from him, right? And so I saw this red Porsche. He had it up on a lift in the back bay of his shop at the time. And I looked under it and I was like, man, it didn't have any wheels on it. Man, this Porsche is really clean, spotless underneath, John. Not a drip of oil, and Porsche 911s are notorious for oil leaks in various locations,
Mhm.
right? This thing didn't have
Especially the air,
anything,
especially the air cooled ones.
especially the air cooled ones. And this one was an '87, so it's a narrow body Carrera. And I was like, man, this is really, really clean. But I don't like the red. I'm not really a red color guy.
Yeah.
Um, Go move to the front of the car, and it's got a particular sticker underneath the front bumper on the like underneath the lip, but like not on the lip where you could see it plainly if you're looking at it standing up. You could only really see it if you're crouched down. And it said Idlers Club member 2006. And I was like, whoa, okay. This makes sense why it's so clean, why it looks so modified underneath. I mean, it had like a custom heater box. It had coilover conversions. It had 996 turbo front and rear brakes, the big reds they called them. It had a bunch of stuff, but I didn't know anything about the engine specs. I just knew that it was probably a
Can
little
you
modified.
can you explain what idlers is to those that might not know?
Oh, okay. Idlers is a Japanese racing organization. Um, They do all the popular circuits in Japan. So we're talking Scuba, Twin Ring Motegi, uh, Fuji Speedway. I think they have an event down in Suzuka, but I don't know. I think they're mostly based in like the greater Kanto, Tokyo area sort of organization. They do a lot of events at Scuba and Twin Ring. That's basically their two main tracks that they do their events at. But so Idlers is this racing organization. They do a series of events. Some of them are 12-hour endurance races. Some of them are six. Some of them are regular, lapped events. Um, but they do this big event. It's called Idlers Games, and it's over a weekend, usually at either Scuba or Twin Ring Motegi, and they race. There's multiple series. There's an open class, there's a street class, there's limited. Then they have their spec classes. There's a AE86 class. There's a Porsche 911 P Cup, right? So they do a lot, and also they have a close association with Akira Nakai of RWB. Uh, that's why you see idlers on the side walls of the tires of a lot of RWB cars, or at least he used to. I don't know if he still does that, or maybe it's just like you have to order that thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the catalog for RWB, but that is where RWB gained its popularity. We might have to do a whole episode on that, actually. We've had some RWB members and people who have cars on the show, particularly Nathan Vosberg. He's had two. You should go back and listen to that if you're listening to this now. And also Danny. Danny's got like the most amount nowadays.
Oh my
God, I think he has like close to 10 sitting in his inventory, either announced or not announced or on the way
if,
somewhere. Dude,
if
he's
you
accumulated quite a bit.
if you want a modified old Porsche, like Danny's like the guy to go to. It's
Absolutely.
like that's pretty much it.
Dude, he's gotten wild with the Porsches that he's bought recently too. He's got two GT3Rs. One of them being one of the last H pattern 996 GT3Rs ever to be made, which is sick nasty.
Yeah.
He's got like he's also got a lot of Promodet cars, which we also like on the show
I
here.
really want a Promodet 911, like 930 or 964 era. I just don't know if I pay the money,
Hmm. Well, I mean,
because
they are expensive. I'm not gonna lie, but like so we're gonna get to that to this point I was gonna make. So yes, idlers, pretty serious racing crew. People who race idlers are pretty hardcore in terms of Japanese spec of enthusiast. Um, and so this car was owned by Idlers Club member, a 2006 member, which is I think in the early days of Idlers. Idlers came up, I think, in the early 2000s. I might have to be corrected on that or do some research. But anyway, so yeah, I saw that on the front lip of the car, of the bumper of the car. I'm like, okay, this is something serious. And as I move to the side quarter glass window, I see this line of rectangular stickers lining up like really nicely up the quarter glass. And like I can't see it. It's like remember the car is up on a lift, right? And so like it's 6 feet above me. It's at full height. And like I take it on my phone and I take a picture. I zoom in and I take a picture and I look down at my phone and I'm like, and like I just stare at it for like a good 10 seconds. And then I'm like, oh, oh, whoa, right? And Danny's like maybe 5, 7 feet away from me. He's like, oh yeah, what you find over there? This motherfucker, he knew. He probably knew back then. He's like, oh yeah, he knows. He caught me right there. The line of rectangular stickers was uh track day inspection check-in, stickers, basically text stickers, and then with the date and the event and where it was at of every Idlers Games P Cup race that this car had been a part of, and it spanned at least the ones on the car. They spanned 2 years, so like 2012 to 2014 has I think 8 stickers, and it has every single track. Such a cool piece of history for the car. Um, but yeah, it raced idlers, at least documented on the car for 2 years. But I think it had raced actually for from 2008, no, 6 years, 2008 to 2014. So it's for 6 years it actually raced Idlers games, and then it won 2012 and 2014 from my research and deep diving, which is crazy.
It's got a
It's just,
lot of pedigree.
yeah, it's I could talk forever about this car. So fast forward to when I flipped over the GTR and Danny's now showing me pictures of this car again. I was like, oh, I remember this car. Matter of fact, I took some pictures of that car and I went back and I looked at all of them. I was like, man, it's a really nice car. It's a 1987 Porsche 911 G body Carrera narrow, and it's got the styling of like a roof Yellowbird. It's got roof style, front bumper and rear bumper. It's got the cutout slots, but the wild thing about this narrow body is that it's been turbo converted. So it's got a turbo motor in the back. Not only that, it's a 964 based engine that's been bored over from 3.2 to 3.3 liters, but then turboed with a K27. So it's got some get up and go, but some like old school, like in proper Japanese fashion, like freaking it's all NA until 4 grand and then 4,000 RPMs and then the turbo switch. It's like a switch. It's on or it's off, and you got to be in it to win it.
So the $1,000,000 question is that car, your old R32. I don't really care what's faster because that's stupid, but like driving sensation.
Hmm. Which is better? I don't. I think the jury's still on that one. So like,
Okay.
I flipped over the GTR in August. I had bought the car, this Porsche 911 Porsche. Gosh, they're gonna kill me for never pronouncing it right. I had bought it. I bought it in November. Then I bought it in November. And then the very next week, I went on a trip to Japan for 2.5 months. Then after that, I went on a trip to Brazil. Then fast forward to just recently, I moved down to SoCal. So I was living in Sacramento. Now I'm living outside of LA in the nice little Horsetown, USA. Look it up. Yippee Anyway, so like I had been doing a lot of moving. So like I also kind of stalled Danny for 6 months and had bought this, gave him the money for this Porsche in November and told him to hold on to it until I found a house in SoCal. He sent it to me in April. I didn't really start driving this car until June. So I've been driving the shit out of it since then. And I could say that like everything that anybody's ever said that's great about a Turbo 911 is true. And everything that they've said about bad about a Turbo 911 is also true. That's what makes it so fucking good. And it's one of those things, John, where like with you, if like for example, we were just having this conversation the other week. If a rear differential is modified and at low speed, it makes a bunch of clunky noise and it's terrible to drive and you hate it, but
Yep.
when it's doing the thing, you don't even remember or realize that it's a modified diff because it's so smooth and it does the thing so well that it doesn't
You
even
forget that it's there.
and you forget that it's there, right? And so like
Yep.
this this turbo 911, God, it hates being in the in between. It hates the in between. It's a really passive, tame car to drive and really enjoyable car as a daily to drive out of boost, just putzing along, 1,000, 3,000 RPM, you shift, right? You never really get into it. You're just kind of cruising on a Sunday drive with your grandma. It's really good at that. And it's really comfortable. It has running AC, has a sunroof, like wild. And
Right.
slight tangent. For somebody to race in idlers with running AC and a sunroof to drive to and from the track and do that is wild.
Yeah, it's pretty legit.
I
That's
love
pretty
that.
legit.
Um, yeah, it's really great as a daily driver. But if you're even trying to like just kind of like half throttle it or kind of like half ass, half heart it into the throttle or into boost, like it's gonna hate you. And it's gonna let you know it hates it. It's gonna buck. It's not gonna feel right. It's gonna be all over the place. But if you get into it and you stay into it and you give your commitment, oh my God, John, it's a fucking rocket ship. It's absolutely it. Okay, so it has like Danny said it dynoed at in Miami at in 100-degree weather at 400 horsepower. About it was like 399, so like 400 on the dot in 100-degree Miami weather. Out here, I think it's definitely putting down a little bit more because of the nicer air, the less humidity, colder air, especially in the mountains, and like it's absolutely faster than my GTR in a straight line. It gets there
With 100
faster
less horsepower. With
with a
100
hundred
less
less
horsepower.
with 100 less horsepower. It's also lighter, but like not that you wouldn't think that much lighter, but like
Interesting.
the GTR at full boost at full watt. Watt is life, by the way. Don't forget, watt is life. uh, like the GTR is fast. It's very quick. It gets up to speed very fast. But through the years of ownership and my refining it, it's smooth. It's a very smooth,
Super smooth.
you know, speed.
Super smooth.
The 911 is an animal. It's a beast. Like it's something that like if I look down to see the speed, like I'm already going too fast. Like it's just in it. You're in it, and you know what I mean. Like it's
I
just
get it. I get it. I get it. I probably, it's probably a very different driving experience, but the thing that cracked me up when I got the Grand Sport, for instance, the Grand Sport makes about the same power that my Skyline makes. Um, but one's a 2.6 liter inline six with a big ass turbo, and the other one is a 8.5 almost liter naturally aspirated V8, and they feel nothing alike. Even though terminal acceleration is relatively similar, like they don't feel anything like each other. And the Grand Sport is a animal. It feels like it's trying to kill you when you're just going through a neighborhood at 30 miles per hour. Dude, I think one of the things that makes Skylines so unique and like cool as they are is that I mean maybe some of these guys that are running 1,000 plus horsepower with 280-degree cams, maybe that's different, but for the rest of us that are around 600 and below with sensible camshafts, like the car kind of behaves like a Camry, whether you're on it or cruising. It just doesn't care. It's just like, oh, you want more acceleration or less acceleration, but it's still just like it's
can be. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. And so that in and of itself is a really interesting and unique and like cool experience. But then when you drive a car that doesn't have its manners, that is also a very cool experience and very unique. Um,
I mean, it doesn't have any power steering, doesn't have an ABS, traction
yeah,
control,
yeah.
none of that. And oh God, I might need to drive it after this. It's like it's crazy because it goes in like it's such a it's different. So like there's no weight in the front. Obviously, all the weight's in the rear. It's a Porsche, and like in boost, I really had to learn to just let the wheel do this sort of, just kind of like wiggle it. It's just let it do its thing, and have a grip on it. But like generally, the rear is what keeps you planted, and it's wild. You need to have that sort of confidence, especially with a car like this.
Have you
In the mountains,
experienced?
I've taken it on the toge a few times, and it is 10 times the handful that it is in a straight line. And I think I love it
Have
more
you
for it.
have you experienced any nasty liftoff oversteer?
Oh, yes. It's scary.
Yeah,
So
quiet weight back there.
I've learned I've tried to safely learn the car as much as I can. I have some track days on the schedule for September and October that I hope I can make. That will give me some more proper seat time with it, and let me explore the limits in a proper manner instead of doing that on mountain roads at god awful
Yeah.
dawn hours.
Well, I feel like if you tried to apply a driving style that works in a GTR to a Porsche, it would go very poorly because, like a GTR is chassis, unless you do quite a bit of suspension work, it's like slightly understeery just in the chassis. And then the nice thing about the Atessa is it will let you kick the rear out, and the car is
Hmm.
actually really easy to slide. It's super easy to catch, and then when you're in the slide, it starts to put the power into the front, so it's really difficult to get away from you because the car kind of pulls you out of it. So you can kind of drive a GTR like an asshole because if you cook it a little bit too much and just keep your foot in the gas, like the front end will kind of pull you out. You have none of that in the
Zero.
Porsche whatsoever. Like
Zero.
it's it's probably not an understeery chassis, and it doesn't have any four wheel drive assistance. And
And when you're out of line or out of place on a road, it will let you know very quickly. So it will get fucking sketchy in a heartbeat. I've done a lot of growing as a driver. In the last 3 months, I could confidently say driving around this Porsche. Um, and it's been great. I'm glad that I'm able to experience something like this. Shout out to Danny, for real, uh, for hooking me up and allowing me to be uh, a proper driver now, I could say.
that's what I was saying when you were looking at cars. I was like, hey man, do something else. Do something British or German or American. Do something front wheel drive. Do something rear wheel drive. Do something with the engine in the back. Just something not with an inline six turbo all wheel drive. Like not Japanese. Like that, because I was just like, life's too. There's just too many weird, just other things out
I did everything except for the not Japanese thing because I did end up buying a Japanese Porsche.
there. I mean, that's just the bridge that you needed to get you where you needed to go. You have a
Yeah,
Japanese bridge. You
I had to
travel
use it.
to Germany. You travel to Germany via a Japanese bridge, and that's okay.
By the way, the shop that had built this narrow body, I like to call it the Idler's narrow body. It's just something I've come up with. Anyway, it's a shop right outside of Yokota, right outside the fence line of Yokota. It's called Metspeed. It's a little, it's a really like the epitome of a Japanese shop. You would pass by it 20 times in a day and you would never know what's there. But it's dad and son duo shop. It's the only two workers there, and all they do is 911 work and now 944 work. They race a lot of turbo 944s, which is great.
They
I
just
went
have
over there. I met
just
them.
acres and acres of parts.
No, 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 no. It's a relatively small shop, but like they have a dedicated parts bin section.
Okay.
It covers a third of the shop. What am I kidding? But they also have a dyno, so like they're a full stop shop, which is great. It's really cool. I went over there like on the last day I was in Japan, and like they told me everything about the car from memory. They hadn't seen the car in 10 years. It was something I've never experienced before. Like they told me literally everything. I
I
learned
didn't
a lot.
realize you actually got. I didn't realize you got to visit the shop when you visited Japan.
Oh yeah. So uh on the dinner I went to go meet Carl Kun, our buddy
Yeah,
Carl, and I had was telling him and Iga-san about the story about the Porsche, and Carl's like, "Oh, dude, give me the info. Like, give me their Japanese name info, and I'll see if I could find like some contact info because I couldn't find anything on Google Maps. On Google, you can't you search up Met Speed and it doesn't really know what to do because it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's Met Speed in a weird Japanese English translated text in on the internet. So it's kind of strange. So like he did a good work for me. He did like quick research and got me the contact info. I called him up. I was like, hey, this is what I said. I was like, I had recently bought a Porsche 911. Uh, it has your name stickers on it. I'm in Tokyo. I would like to come by and just find out some more information about the car. Yada yada yada. They're like, yeah, sure, come tomorrow. That's all I said. Next day, show up. And I was like, hey, hello, my name is De Silva-san. I talked to you on the phone yesterday about the Porsche I just bought. They're like, oh, yeah, the red turbo 911 G body. And I was like, yes. How how did you know? They're like, oh, you seem like the kind of guy who drives that. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know what that means. I'm not quite sure. I'm still trying to figure that out. But they're like, you bought it, right? And I was like, well, yes, that's me. And so and then they rattled off everything they did to it, what it had raced in, what it had won, who the previous owner was, how he's like, yada yada, what he's doing now, which is crazy. So, long story, a short, a long story shorter, longer, whatever. The car essentially got too fast for the old man. He got older. The car stayed fast, and so he had to get rid of it. But now he still races, but he races old school Mini Cooper S's around Scuba. Probably, probably in idlers still, which is crazy because now he's like
It's
75.
legit.
He's 75 now. He's got to be.
Huh.
So kudos to the old man. But um, that's what I have now, sitting in just outside in the driveway. I still have the GTR, amazingly. It still has a clean title, though. I mean, it's all rolled over. It's also sitting in my driveway underneath the cover. I have to get the motivation to start tearing it apart to get it fixed, get it to a frame shop, make sure that it's still straight, and then get to replacing all the panels. Which also brings me to the end of my life update. So I've gone through all that. We've done that. I've now moved to the LA area. I'm right outside LA, like maybe an hour east of LA in the Inland Empire. Uh, and I've decided to start a fab school. So now I'm doing a metal fabrication course over at the Fab School in Rancho Cucamonga. If anybody wants to look that up, it's a great place. Yeah. I've been, what is today? Middle of August. I've been doing it for like almost 2 months now. And I've learned a lot about metal fabrication, welding, all that stuff. None of which, honestly, I had no knowledge or experience in prior. So to get from zero to where I am now, which is I've welded up a welding bench. I've done uh, like a lot of other things, like a trash can. Like it's been little projects to sort of uh, get your skill up. Um, but we're getting into roll cages now, into chassis engineering. A-arm suspension is up on the menu for next month, so that's cool. The plan is to get these skills and then restore the R32 GTR to what it was, and maybe make it even more of an aggressive track car. Now that it's going to be down to the bare metal, so that is where we're at. I'm excited. It's really fun learning something new, I gotta say.
Just don't mod it so much that you hate it.
I mean, the car was already pretty modified. I don't think I could hate it if it was more modified. Like, what would be more modified? It would be a transmission, like a sequential or something ridiculous.
Just talking about totally stripped out, uncomfortable to drive. I mean, unless you intend to just take it to the track and it's your track car.
Well, I mean, now that I have the Porsche, I don't really need the GTR to be a daily or a street car. And given the fact that I have to strip it down to its bare chassis, take out the old roll cage, putting a new one in, doing all this stuff, it might be better off in a new life as a dedicated race car, track car. And I think I could have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, for sure.
Still track the 911, but not as serious because quite honestly, it doesn't really need to prove anything. It's a two-time idlers champion. So I'm enjoying it. Race it when I see fit. But I think the 32 is going to be the next. It needs to be resurrected first and foremost. Foremost. Wow, that came out weird. Then we'll see. Then we'll see.
Got a lot of work ahead of you.
I do, and like the overall plan is to go into carbon composites, and then start making carbon parts for it because race car. And since everything needs to be reskinned anyway, why not make it in carbon? So might do like a garage active kit, but a zero lift active kit. Ooh, sounds good. Yeah.
Zero lift active kit. I want to see this.
We'll see. But yeah, I think that's all I got for the life update on my part. It's been a wild kind of hiatus ride for the last 2 years. I'm glad to still be here for it though.
I can't believe that me and you are recording on like a semi agreeable time zone split.
That's also a first for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're moving on up,
Feels
baby.
very feels very strange to be back.
Yeah. But we are back. We have some guests on the lineup, at least on my list, that will be very interesting. We'll get to that when we get to that. But that's all we have for today, folks. Quick plug for all of our stuff. You can get us on YouTube now in video format. There's also video on Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Music, wherever you get your musics and podcasts. We are there. I drop all of our stuff everywhere. So hit us up, drop a comment, follow us. If you want, and you're still using Discord, we have a Discord server. It's got a bunch of archival footage from Japan and our project cars and other members, this viewers, listeners, project cars, and cool stuff. So come on, join us. We'll catch you on the flip side. Remember, what is life? Bye bye.